Hey, welcome back. This is a part two, I guess, of a little series that I'm doing. It kind of stands alone, and the first part kind of stands alone also, but I encourage you to go back and check out the first one. There may be some more information in there that I don't share this time, but I'm going to do a little recap for you. We talked about what 1/1000th of an inch off at the muzzle means, and it means you're going to be an entire inch off at 28 yards. That's where 1,000 inches is. So if we're off 1/1000th of an inch at the muzzle, it just keeps going for every inch, right? We're going to be another thousandth of an inch off. And then I asked you guys to do a little homework. I said, find some things that you can be very specific about. And what I mean by that is just everyday things. The example I gave in the last one was tying your shoes. Instead of just putting them on and not thinking about it, actually get intentional and go through some steps. So get those laces perfectly evened up and then snug them up just so they're even. Both shoes are even with each other, and then tie a perfect bow in it and really concentrate on doing that. And I didn't tell you guys why I wanted you to do that, but there are like hundreds of these things that we can do every day, right? Another example is eating. If I put it down a plate of spaghetti in front of you, you may have a different method than I do of eating that. You can do like the twirl on the fork method. You can take a knife and cut it all up. Or maybe you just take your fork and cut one bite out and eat it. So there's different ways of doing that, and none of us ever think about that. Whatever food is put in front of us, it's just like autopilot. We know how to eat it. So last night was a perfect example of this. I was asked to fold some t-shirts up for a kids soccer league, and there was maybe 100 of these, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to be very intentional and fold each sleeve in and then flip it over so everything is just so all the wrinkles are out. The logo is the exact same place. When I put it on the stack, I'm going to stack it up just perfect. So I created steps that I would normally not take. Normally I would just fold, flip, and put it on the stack without paying a lot of attention, but I wanted to be very intentional about this. So you guys can kind of see where I'm going with this. Maybe I want to give you one more example just to kind of bring it home. I played high school basketball, and I've been coaching middle school basketball for about 13 years. And most of the time I have these kids, I get them for a year and then I never see them again, so I kind of forget their names. But there was a kid about 10 years ago. His name was, or still is, Jacob. And Jacob was a kind of a different kid. You know, he wasn't real sports minded, but he had kind of an engineering mindset, a medical doctor mindset, I guess, very methodical about the way he did things. So in practice, we went through the fundamentals of shooting. And I was talking about getting your feet set and your knees bent a little bit, and then the ball, you know, make this L and then cock the basketball in there and then follow through. And there were a few more steps other than that, but I don't want to bore you in this video. So anyway, we did that, and then we practiced that. And then at the end of practice, I'm sure I said, I want you guys to take all this stuff into the game on Saturday that we learned tonight. Sure enough, old Jacob gets in the game and he gets a pass and he starts going through all his steps, getting his feet planted, getting the ball cocked just so, and then he takes a shot and he gets it blocked. And he looks over at me like it's my fault because I told him to do all that. And so we kind of had to work through all that to explain, you know, there's how you have to do it in the game and then practicing fundamentals. So let's transition over to shooting. Let's say I gave you a brand new 6.5 Creedmoor rifle, something high end, maybe a Christensen arm, something like that. Put a really nice scope on it. And I gave you a box of ammo, maybe 20 rounds in a box ammo. And I said, get ready to hunt. And so you say to yourself, or I would do the same thing, I'm going to get that plastic cardboard table out, drop a lead sled on that, take a piece of cardboard out and put a 1-inch dot on it, about 25 yards away, and take a shot just to see where we're at with the scope and everything. And say it's 8 inches high and 4 inches to the left, so I'm going to do the math. bring it down to where I think it should be, shoot again, and then make a final adjustment. So probably 3 shots in, I'm pretty close to hitting that orange dot. So then I'm going to go out to 100 and do the same thing. And I've probably wasted 6 or 7 of my 20 rounds at this point. And then I'm going to say, I just had a deer behind me. That's pretty funny. So I've probably used six or 7 of my 20 rounds at this point, but I'm dialed in at 100, right? And maybe I decide I'm going to make it 1 inch high at 100 yards. And then most of us would say, okay, I'm ready. The rifle's ready to go. I'm ready to go. And then I ask you this question. I said, okay, how far are you good for? Like, how far can you shoot a deer? And you say, well, it's a 6.5 Creedmoor I got here. It's dialed in. I got the best stuff. I'm good for 300 yards. Say, okay, how do you hunt? What do you mean? Well, do you hunt from a tree stand? Yeah, I hunt from a ladder stand. So, boom, I can snap my fingers, make a ladder stand appear, say get up in that ladder stand, and then I'm going to put a deer silhouette out at 300 yards. Can you hit it? I think that's kind of where we bury our heads in the sand. We do all this stuff, we get on the bench, get everything just so at 100 yards, but we never try to find out where our max is. So anyway, you're up in the tree and you have your rifle. Maybe you have that rail around the front of you, maybe you don't. But what if I put the deer over here, or what if I put it over here? Now you don't have that rail to use. Now you have to freehand it or try to use your knee. Now remember, let's go back to that 1/1000th of an inch off is going to be an inch at 28 yards. Are you steady enough just holding that rifle on your knee? So where am I trying to go with this? Well, the system that I created here and that I've been using now since 2011 is I'm going to take everything that I practiced with out into the field with me. So same rest, same tripod. I have the our signature camo rest here, and I can make these quick adjustments left and right, up and down, and quickly lock it into place. And I can do everything I'm going to do on the bench, so to speak. There's no white table with the lead sled on it because we can't carry that out into the woods with us. So I'm practicing with the same stuff that I'm going to hunt with. So I want to show you guys a target that this was actually the last one I shot with, the 44 Magnum, the gun I just showed you guys. And it's not great, right? It's not great, it's not terrible. It's kind of honestly representative of the kind of groups that I get with this gun. So let's put this up on old Ginger here and just see what we have. Now that's a pretty dead deer any way you slice it. Let me get my shadow out of there. So I may think if I shot this group and it was at a range that I was comfortable with, I would be ready to go. But that's really kind of a lie, because going back to our basketball example, I haven't got that to be automatic where I'm just shooting the ball, going through those steps one after the other. And that's where I want to go with the next video. It's not going to be a part 3, it's going to stand by itself, but I'm going to go into some fundamentals that I'm going to use just to prepare for the season a little bit better. And you guys can either use the ones that I create, or you can create your own, obviously, but I'm going to stress myself a little bit. Now I'm going to warn you guys, you're going to have to swallow your pride a little bit. You're not going to make those groups that you can put on Instagram. Swallow your pride a little bit. Things may not go right. I'll probably demonstrate that, because I'm not going to filter what I show you guys. If I miss the whole piece of paper or whatever I'm shooting at, that's the way it is. So anyway, that's the next video. Thank you guys for watching. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe. Hit that bell. It does me a lot of good as a YouTuber to have more subscribers. It helps more people see this content. So thank you guys very much, and I will see you on the next video.